Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of Generation Gap. I am your host, Vincent Lowry, and today we will be talking about what and how are police perceived in society today, how has it affected society, and right now we're going to turn over to my wonderful panel. They're going to introduce themselves from their left to my right.
All right, well, I'm Steve Barbalasi. I'm a senior here at IUP. I'm a communications major, and I'm ready to talk.
I'm Michelle Popecki, and I'm the chairwoman of the Journalism and Public Relations Department, and I have some experience with police. I worked for the City of Pittsburgh Bureau of Police for a couple years, 28 years in the military, and I'm a township supervisor.
Okay, so my name is Septima Simpkins. I am a communications media major, and I'm a part of the IUP and NAACP, and we actually just hosted an event with police officers and trying to educate the students on the interactions between them and a police officer.
Wow, so we have a very wonderful and experienced panel with me tonight. Right now we're going to turn it over to Victoria for a field report.
Hey everyone, this is Victoria with Generation Gap. I'm here today talking about police brutality, and I'm here with my new friend Aaron. He's going to answer one of the questions for me. So Aaron, how do you think society's views on police have changed over the past years?
I think police have become less a part of the community. They're less familiar with the people that they police, so it's a little more alienated.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
That's my view. Police just are not part of the community as they used to be.
Okay, well thank you. This is Victoria and signing out with Generation Gap.
Thank you, Victoria, for that wonderful field report. But now we're going to get into the big discussion of how police are viewed in our society. So the big question I'm going to start with my wonderful panel is how are really police viewed in modern society today? And Steve, we're going to start with you.
Well, you know, they're seen as like a powerhouse. There's a lot of times where they abuse their power, but at the same time, with all the social media and all the violence out there today, like there's cops getting killed every single day, and like they don't publicize it like they do when people get shot. So they have a very stressful job, but at the same time, there's some of them that are just a little bit too power hungry. So that's how I view them today.
And Dr. Popecki?
I just would not want to be a police officer today. I think it's a really scary profession. You know, we have some very frank discussions in my classes about policing, and when we talk about things like Ferguson, the students say, well, you know, if the police are going to profile us and just assume that we're bad people, then we're going to assume that they're all bad people too. And we talk about how that might not be the best answer or approach to it.
Pretty much I feel at this day and age, police officers are viewed very in a bad light by the youth, I guess you could say, because you see in the news and the media in general that they do bad things, quote unquote, and that they attack people, and that they just seem so violent, they seem just heartless, and I feel like there's a miscommunication between the two, being that the media is portraying both sides of the field in a bad light, I guess you could say, because the youth is looking horrible, and then you have the police looking horrible. So then who is to say who's wrong or who's right at the end of the day?
Okay, exactly. All three of you have really said answers relating to how police are kind of corrupt in today's society. How have they been in the past? How have they changed? What has affected that change?
I'm gonna have to say social media is a huge play. You can't go on Facebook any day without seeing like posts about the cop did this. Mm-hmm. But let's just be honest. Like if you are not committing a crime, why aren't you gonna stop? Why are you gonna give these police a hard time when they already have a hard enough time? They're dealing with murderers and rapists and whatever every single day. So you're going to give him a hard time. Well, if you're not doing anything wrong, then you should be able to stay there and, you know, they should be able to search you. If you're not doing anything wrong, then just take the punishment. And I think social media really blows it out of proportion. It makes people hate police even though they didn't do anything to them in particular. So
I think transparency in our society has done a lot too. You know, you have cameras everywhere. You're videotaped, 100 times a day without even realizing it. And I think police are under much more scrutiny and they're questioned more. And I agree, they have such a difficult job, and I think that we have a responsibility as a society to educate people on how to get pulled over and how to interact with the police, because a lot of people don't learn that until they're in a really bad situation.
Exactly, Papeki, and I'm gonna actually cut you off right there, but we're gonna turn it over to Malusi for Ruffle My Feathers. Malusi, take it over.
Thanks, Vinny. So now it is time for our trivia section. So the first question I have for our viewers is, what year did the Trayvon Martin incident happen? Was it A, 2011, B, 2012, C, 2009, or D, 2013? We'll be right back with the answer after this commercial break.
It's hard to explain. It just became home. There are hundreds of majors and programs, bachelor's degrees to PhDs, small classes and faculty that really get to know you. Amazing internships and everywhere, programs that help to find a job that is right for you. It's what IUP is about, a commitment to your success. See it for yourself. Visit us, Indiana University of Pennsylvania. Find your success.
Before the commercial break, we asked, what year did the Trayvon Martin incident happen? Was it A, 2011, B, 2012, C, 2009, or D, 2013? And the answer is 2012. Now to our field reporter, Victoria.
Hey everyone, this is Victoria with Generation Gap, and we're here talking about police brutality, and I'm here with my friend John, and he's going to answer one question for me. So John, why do you think that there have been so many issues or conflicts concerning police brutality in the past years?
Well, I don't necessarily believe that there has been a rise. I think it's just that the way society's evolved and the media has blown it up. I think people just see it a lot more and kind of blow it out of proportion.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for your answer. This is John, I'm Victoria, and signing out for Generation Gap.
Thank you, Victoria, for the field report. Now we're moving to our second set of questions. In the last set of questions, we talked about media and how it affects police officers, but now we're going to talk about community and how exactly police officers are affected, how they are viewed, and actions they take. So the first question I'm going to ask you guys is, do you think that the way police officers affect and treat citizens, do you think that gives a ripple effect around the community about their social status or in that society?
I think so, because once a police officer affects one person, whether it's good or bad, that person is going to go speak to their friends, go speak to their family members, and then that word is going to be passed around. So that one officer had affected that person, but now police officers in general is going to be put in that light also. So they have to be aware of how they're affecting people in their community, because they're not just putting salt on their own name, they're putting salt on police officers in general. So I think that it is a ripple effect completely.
And I think we have a responsibility to work with the police. When times are good, I think we should be reaching out more. And I do a really fun exercise with students where I stage a mock arrest in my class, and only the student who's being arrested knows. And we have the police officer come in and approach the student and say, "You're under arrest," and everybody just looks around and gets real quiet. And the unintended thing that I learned from doing that is so many of my students just put their heads down and got really nervous that a police officer was in the room. And I didn't anticipate that reaction. And once I learned that students had that reaction, I continued to do that. But as soon as they would take the student out in cuffs, and I was sure that I had punked everyone in the class, I'd have the police officer come back in and talk about, to journalists, like what's public information on police reports, and how do you interact with police, and how are you allowed beyond a police do not cross line if you're a media person. And we have all those discussions, and then the students end up building a relationship with the police officers. And I just think it's so important that we support them. It's a really difficult job. When I worked for the police, I rode along with them, and it's a terrifying job every day. And I'm in the military, people thank me for my service, but they're the ones who are being shot at every day in their own communities. And I just really think that we need to rally around them and support what they do.
Yeah, absolutely. The community is definitely affected. Let's just take Baltimore, for example. when somebody got shot and killed in Baltimore, there was riots everywhere. There was people hurting their own community, setting their own CVS on fire. That's crazy. Like, you're only affecting your own community when you do things like that. Just to get back at a policeman who's just trying to do their job, that's ridiculous. So it does definitely have a big effect on your community. And also, I have to go back to social media. The word spreads so much quicker now because everybody's on their phone. Everybody wants to videotape the officer that is pulling them over just to maybe like get them on tape doing something that they're not supposed to do. But you know, so it definitely does have a big effect on your community, and the word spreads very quickly. So.
Yeah. I see that from all three of you, all the same exact answers. But right now, we're having a great discussion going on right now. But we're going to take it over to Malusi for Ruffle My Feathers.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Ruffle My Feathers. I'm here with Steve, Septima, and Michelle Papeki, and we're going to play a game of charades. Now, the point of this game is to guess the object or the item on the card without seeing it, and whoever gets the most points wins. So, Steve and Septima,
You're going down, man.
Oh, no
Okay.
way. Forget it. Bring it. Bring it.
You're going to lose, clearly.
Okay, this is the number that you call to talk to the.
911.
There you go.
What?
You got it
Oh,
already?
wait
Yeah.
a minute. We should have been
Oh,
watching that.
man. Okay. All right, keep
What's
going.
up?
Wasn't that hard? All right.
Keep going.
It's a Patriots coach.
All right, they use this to take down people if they're being uncooperative.
Pepper spray.
Another one, electricity.
You ain't getting it.
Taser.
There you go.
All right, keep going.
We're not scared.
All right.
You're not going to.
We're not rocking.
All right, you said this last time. They use it to take down people.
Can I get more? Pepper spray.
Keep going.
All right, this is what they drive. The cops drive this.
Police car.
There you go.
Trying to thread them off.
Yeah, I mean, Steve, you cheated.
You drink this in the morning to get energized.
Water.
To get energized, caffeine.
Oh, coffee.
There you go.
You gave them all the easy ones, guys. That's what you did.
This is what the police officers wear up here.
Badge.
There you go.
Watch we get some random stuff that has nothing to do
Probably
with what
got-
we're talking about.
All right, this is what they use.
Handcuffs.
There you go.
So obviously, you guys are really good at charades.
No,
So can you beat
They
that?
got three.
I don't
Yeah.
know.
They got
Yeah.
three.
Okay.
No, we didn't get three.
A lot more. So it's our turn. So we're gonna switch places, and we're gonna go and win.
All
Okay?
right.
Yeah.
You got 7. Okay.
All right, jump rope.
Oh, wait. I'm going the wrong way. All right, wait. Okay.
We could play jump rope too.
I know, right?
Okay.
Okay, and we're gonna start now. Okay, this is a
Knife.
something on here.
Belt.
No.
Pepper spray. Gun.
It's
Something on here.
yeah,
Lethal weapon.
yes.
What?
Oh man,
That was good.
good.
Okay. Hurry up, hurry up.
This is what they read to you when you
You're
get
right.
arrested.
There they go.
This is the animal that they use for
A dog.
Yeah. Oh, let's go.
Dog, come on. That's serious.
This is
letters and more.
what the cops eat in the morning.
Captain Crunch.
No.
Donuts.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And what's this? This is what they do around the neighborhood.
Police.
Uh,
Patrol.
yes. Oh, we're killing this.
No, you're not. You're not going to win.
Oh.
Was that right?
So we're about to see who won this game, and it looks like Team Adult won. Hey, so
How did you win that?
Cheering for the
because
old
we had a
people.
professional scorekeeper, so
Oh,
that was
we
it.
didn't get to
But
count them.
thanks for joining us, and we're about to send this to a field report.
Hey everyone, this is Victoria again, and I'm here with Generation Gap, and we're talking about the subject of police brutality. And I'm here with my good friend Taylor, and she's going to answer one question for me. So, Taylor, how has the media affected how we view police brutality or incidents involving police brutality?
I think that it has a cause and effect on the society. There's always something bad that the person has done for the police to retaliate. And so we look at our generation as we had to have done something bad in order for them to retaliate on us. But, when using social media, we target more of the police, and it turns into a racial issue. And I think that's where there's a large confusion of what's going on.
Okay, I see. All right, thank you so much for your answer. That was a really good answer, actually. All right, I'm Victoria, and I'm signing out with Generation Gap. This is Taylor, and see you guys later.
Okay.
Thank you, Victoria, for that field report. Welcome back to the discussion we are having right now. We are having a great discussion going on. And to start things off, Steve, you started off with saying about Baltimore, and you're actually going nationally, but we were talking about community. But, for example, you said it's very different in how citizens react to how the police are. For example, you said CVS is being burned down in Baltimore. So do you think, Papeki, that depending on what the environment is for the police officers, do you think that is how they are viewed?
Absolutely. When I worked for the Pittsburgh Police, we were under a consent decree, and that meant that the Department of Justice was looking at us. We were under a microscope because of malfeasance and accusations of malfeasance and just bad practices. And the way we spun it to the community was that our chief, he just wanted the best practices in Pittsburgh. So whenever we said that, the police officers were upset because they felt like the chief was siding with the community, saying that they were bad people, when really he just wanted to bring the best practices to Pittsburgh. So I remember going through that, and I remember having to see police officers support the KKK when they came to town, because the KKK has every right to demonstrate, yet I would see African American police officers standing there protecting them. I mean, that's hard to watch. And I think that they're professional, and they really do everything they can to keep us safe, but the way they're treated is just, it's disgusting sometimes, and it's hard to separate that. So the community gets upset and everyone's at odds, but if we would just take more time to understand each other, I think that things would be much better.
I think yes, because you have cities like New York City, and then you have Philadelphia, and then you have Baltimore. You have big cities like that where police officers and the citizens is more disattached, opposed to when you have a more suburban environment. Then you have the police officers where they can be more lax. Then they have a different relationship with the community, and they might know the neighbors and stuff like that. They're more familiar with them, opposed to when you're in a city, they have to be a little bit more tougher, and they carry different weapons first off. So. Yeah, I guess so.
All right, so there's bad people out there. There's no doubt about that. It's not all police officers, they're not all bad people. Out of the few times that I've been pulled over, I think like 3 of the times I've had a dirty cop, honestly, pull me over. The other times, totally respectable. The police officer greeted me and was very polite with me and told me what I did wrong, and I was on my way. I had nothing to hide from them. And I feel like when you act like you have something to hide from them, or you have a phone all up in their face, like they are definitely going to be more weary about you and be like, you're not respecting me, so I'm not going to respect you. So, there's just bad people everywhere, and you just cannot generalize all police officers as being bad people, It's just like how they say like African Americans, they're generalizing them to be bad people, but I don't think that we should think that way. Everybody's different, and we're not all bad people. I don't know.
Not all bad people at all, honestly.
Exactly.
But right now we're going to turn it back over to Malusi. Malusi, it's all up to you, man.
How much does a police officer make annually? Is it A, $70,000, B, $45,000, C, $60,677, or D, $56,980? We'll be right back with the answer after this commercial break.
When I was in high school, I didn't know where I wanted to go to college. But I did know I wanted a major with job potential, and a campus that felt like the right place for me. I chose IUP. I'm studying on a beautiful campus with great professors who focus on student success and 140 academic majors. I'm Megan Spangler. I study nursing. Find your success at IUP.
You know that show everyone's been talking about?
Schizophrenia.
Schizophrenia.
I know you watch Schizophrenia, right?
Excuse me? Dude, these charts are off the radar.
Oh my god.
We're in love.
You know who this is. Stop dancing right now, you punks.
And it's all over. What an incredible display of good sportsmanship.
Yes, tell your friends, but only the hot ones.
So guys, with the tournament coming up, what are IUP's chances this year?
I think they have a really good chance because the PSAC is not that strong compared to IUP. IUP moves the ball a lot quicker than most teams. They're very well-rounded. They've been playing together for a while. They've got a lot of big-time transfers. So I think that they have the edge over most of their opponents simply because they have experience. Experience gives you the edge any day of the week. So that's definitely why I think they can win the PSAC tournament for sure. What do you think, Norm?
Before the commercial break, we asked how much does a police officer make annually? Is it A, $70,000, B, $45,000, C, $60,677, or D, $56,980? And the answer is D, $56,980. Now back to Vinny.
Thank you, Malusi, and we are back to our great discussion we're having on right now. We're getting into our last set of questions. And to start off, this show is all about generations, right? So, as myself, as a kid, I always thought that police officers were seen as superheroes, cool guys. Do you think, moving up my panel, do you think that it is still seen as that as children in our generation today?
I have a great story about that. I have a nephew, he's 2, and he started to take his car seat buckle apart while we were driving. So I had him up here in Indiana, he lives in Pittsburgh, and I had him up here and there was an event at the courthouse. And I saw a police officer and I thought, okay. So I took my nephew up, he's 2, I said, shake his hand, you know, this is Officer so-and-so, shook his hand. And the officer got down on one knee and was talking to him and I said, you know, Logan thinks it's cool to take his seatbelt off while we're driving in the car. And the police officer said, you can't ever take your seatbelt off. You know, I need to keep you safe. And the way that I keep you safe is for you to stay buckled in, because if you're in an accident, you could get hurt. And he looked at him and shook his head and shook his hand and went away. And now my sister just has to say police officer and he doesn't touch his seatbelt. So I just think it's up to us. It's up to us to make heroes out of public servants. We really need to do that in every community because they are heroes. They have a really tough job.
Yeah, and I'd have to agree. A lot of things that you learn is definitely from your upbringing. I'm a little bit I think that when you're young, you do view police officers as heroes. But I do think that once you get a little bit older in your teenage years, you want to rebel against all authority figures. So you're obviously going to think of them more as the villain and the people that you want to get away with things from. And I think it may be an age thing and also how you're brought up. So it has a little bit to do with everything. So.
Well, first off, children, the age of children watching TV is getting lower and lower and younger. So I feel like children that's young watching TV, they see all the bad things and they see everything that's happening in the news with police officers. So no, I think that children don't think that they're heroes anymore, and I think that's really hard for them to even view them that way, being that everywhere you look, even on a commercial, you'll have a police officer as if they're doing something bad, or you don't see police officers walking around just shaking little kids' hands and showing them affection and stuff like that. So I don't think that children view them as heroes anymore because their parents aren't telling them this is a person of authority and you should respect them. You have parents now telling their children, when you go outside, you need to watch out for the police officer. So you have young children hearing that, that's scary. So you look at them as villains at times.
Yes, so exactly all you guys are saying is that a lot throughout the discussions you have said that police are feared. So what exactly can the police do to change that look on society?
Education. I really think it's education. And I know I'm biased because I'm a professor, but we're never taught how to be pulled over in a car. We're never taught how to interact with police. I think it should be part of our driver's tests, honestly, and I really think that we should incorporate it into lessons that we can teach across campus.
Thank you guys for this great discussion, but right now we're going to wrap things up for Generation Gap. We have my wonderful panel here. We're having a great discussion with Septima, Dr. Papeki, and Steven. I am your host, Vincent Lowry. This has been another great episode of Generation Gap.